When I was a kid, I was given a psychology book called The Erroneous Zones, and it was by the author Wayne Dyer. He is now deceased, but his messages have been translated in many languages and have helped people many times over throughout the world. I read his book, The Erroneous Zones, when I was 12. And in his book, he has a quote that says, "Give up having to have a reason for everything you do. When someone asks you why, remember that you don't have to come up with a reasonable answer that will satisfy them. You can do what you decide just because you want to." Wayne Dyer, Your Erroneous Zones, still available at your bookstores, if they still have them, and also at Barnes and Nobles, the few that they still have available, or any bargain basement book outlets throughout your city. And at that time, I really used to reread things over and over again, just because some of the words that were presented to me were words that I had not experienced, and experiences that were mentioned were experiences that I had not yet lived. But once I gained the understanding, I was able to see where they fit in my life, even though the information was that I can borrow from, that I could pull up memories from, was limited, even at 12 years old. But even then, I was able to puzzle things together and go deep into this world of psychology, which they now call motivation, inspiration, and even self-help or personal life coaching. I just prefer the term psychology because it deals with the study of the mind, my own and your own. Validation has its place, but should not rule your world. The right and wrongness of your actions and decisions are something that will push you forward or can hold you back. Many times you won't know the rightness or wrongness of your decisions until you try a little bit of those actions. But other times, you know what's for you, and most of the times you know what's not for you if it's something very violent, evil, or destructive. These things can only be found out in times where you are not being distracted. The more things distract you, more of a chance you may have to make a decision that does not benefit you. Sometimes in trying to outdo someone else, you actually end up with your face first on the ground in a place that you cannot recover from. Other times you might be able to recover from your bad decisions, also known as tools of learning. For example, as I am riding through South Philly on South Street, I remember once there was a boy that was behind me, younger, and you know when you're younger, you're usually full of testosterone and you're full of energy, but not necessarily full of wisdom. And in Philly, you know, there are a lot of potholes and trolley cars, and when it rains, the trolley car rails will become slick and the potholes will become even more unforgiving. I was coming from the supermarket, and this boy rides behind me, And as he tries to speed around me, as I was going too slow for him, he misses the ice on the rail of a trolley car rail, and he slips. He falls to the ground, and his book bag falls on the floor. And the thing that he hurt more than anything, perhaps, was his pride. I offered him help. I stopped my bike. I went over to him to try to help him up, and he refused my assistance, proving even more that his ego was bruised more than anything. This could have served as a learning experience for him as well as me, and I'm sure it did if he ever stops and thinks about what happened. Sometimes, in trying to go too fast or to prove the wrong things, you miss the connection that you have with yourself, the universe, and the people around you, animals included. What are some of the things that you wish that you were noticed for? What are some of the things that you have lost connection with? Have you given up making eye contact with people? Do you prefer to do things online than in person? Have you given up on the warmth of another human body near you, even if it's in a non-sexual way? Have you realized that you can be filled just by being in someone else's presence and learning from another person? Simple things. Things that cost no money, but mean everything at the end. How will you be a better person? How will we be better by the end of the year? How will we be better at the start of tomorrow? And with that, have a great weekend. Don't force anything. Go in the spirit of life at your own pace. Be well.